Coming up on Sports Paws, the women's volleyball team heads up to Siena for the MAAC tournament.
The men's hockey team has a battle of Cornell right here at the world's most famous arena, while the women's hockey team took the trip to Sacred Heart for the Nutmeg Classic.
And the women's basketball team is off to a historic start.
All that and more coming up right now on Sports Paws. Welcome to Sports Paws. I'm Seb Lopes, and alongside me is Zach Stokinger. Zach, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling excited, Seb. Let's get the final show of the semester on the road. We'll start off with breaking news tonight. Former Quinnipiac rugby star and Olympic bronze medalist Alona Marr has signed a new professional deal with the Bristol Bears for the remainder of the season. The Bears play in the Premiership Rugby in England, one of the world's top pro leagues for the sport. Marr's deal marks a return to 15-on-15 rugby as she gets ready for the 2025 Rugby World Cup in August, after playing sevens the last two Olympics. Now, we'll switch over to the hardwood as the Quinnipiac volleyball team had some major awards announced. Elena Giacomini collected the MAAC Player of the Year after a year in which she collected 556 points, 486 kills, and 35 service aces on the year.
The Bobcats also saw their very own Damla Ganesh win MAAC Setter of the Year. Ganesh wins the award for the second year in a row, playing in 93 sets and 27 matches this year. The Turkish native recorded 867 assists, 159 digs, 24 kills, and 27 blocks. Damla Ganesh and Elena Giacomini were selected all MAAC first team, while Carola Negron Diaz was selected for all MAAC rookie team. Quinnipiac and Ryder took the trip to Lutonville, New York for the MAAC volleyball playoffs, where they would face each other in the semifinals. The Bronx proved to be no match for the Bobcats, as Quinnipiac would win the match 3-1, clinching a third straight MAAC title game. Quinnipiac dominated the first set, while the middle two were decided by 2 points, and the final set was decided by 3 points. It's the third straight year the Bobcats will be in the MAAC championship game.
After taking care of the Bronx, the Bobcats took on in-state rival Fairfield with the MAAC title on the line. Roll the tape. Quinnipiac and Fairfield meeting for the third straight year in the MAAC championships. The Bobcats warming up with the eyes on the prize, the trophy right there. Let's get into the first set. Bobcats looking to respond to a strong start from the Stags. And it's going to be Allie Elliott of Fairfield starting the block party early. Let's get the Bobcats looking for an offensive switch up, and it's Elena Giacomini getting the kill there. Fairfield continues a strong lead, and that's not going to help as Abby Jandro gets a dump. Let's head to the second set. Bobcats looking for some early, and it's Bailey Brashear, the spear. Bobcats continuing to try and catch up to Fairfield, and that won't help. Michaela Hout gets a huge kill there. Bobcats trying to keep in it, and it's Elena Giacomini getting a block out. Fairfield's gonna win that set too, but Carola Negron Diaz with a switch up. Bobcats trying to build momentum in the third. It's going to be Elena Silva and Damla Ganesh over in the double block. Bobcats getting momentum. Great job there. It's gonna be Quinnipiac winning that 25-19. Quinnipiac still down. Fairfield has a solid lead, but Elena Silva with a slide attack is still not enough. Match point. Bobcats trying to get something going. Alexander Tennant, Maya Walker with the tip. And you know what? They're going to go right back to her for the MAAC championship. Fairfield wins their second straight off the back of Meme Kurobale, who was named championship MVP. He had 11 kills on the day. Quinnipiac's Elena Giacomini had 24. Fairfield will now head to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Wisconsin Badgers in the NCAA tournament. Despite the championship loss for the Bobcats, head coach Kyle Robinson still believes this year was a step in the right direction for the program. Q30's Eli Ehlers has the story.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats fell to the Fairfield Stags in the MAAC championship for the second straight year. Although the team lost in the championship, there still is a ton of positives to take away from this year.
You know, like I said, when you lose Geneva early, who's a key role, maybe the key player, it's really tough. And to see a lot of people step up, to see Lonnie and Yaya carry us the whole season on the left side is a defining moment, because that's great things to come. Hopefully they take the pain and the lessons learned here to be better for next year. But I think defining will probably be that one word.
Although the team did not take home the championship, it's more than just wins and losses for head coach Kyle Robinson.
Win or lose, we're still going to love our university and love our, our Quinnipiac family and our Quinnipiac volleyball family. So we had a good season, fought well most of the season. I didn't think we fought great here tonight. But for most of the season, I thought we were fighting and competing well for the logo, which is important. And they're just an amazing bunch of young women, so love them. They were great. It's a good season for us.
Looking ahead to next year, the message is simple.
We got to keep working. We got to work harder. To get here is just not good enough. You got to get here and finish the job. And I'm not sure we spent most of the season focused enough on volleyball. If you want to beat good teams, you got to be laser focused in on beating good teams. That means putting everything else aside and focus on being a really good volleyball player.
The Bobcats will look to return to the MAAC championship next year and take the trophy back to Hamden. Reporting one last time at Siena, Eli Ehlers, Q30 Sports.
Last weekend, the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team hosted ranked Cornell and Colgate, and the Bobcats could not get a win on the weekend as they first tied the Cornell Big Red 3-3 in regulation on Friday, and they ultimately fell in the shootout 2-1.
After dropping the first match of the weekend, the Bobcats looked to bounce back to winning ways, playing number 5 Colgate. Quinnipiac would drop this match, finding themselves going 0-1-1 on the weekend as they lost in regulation 4-1. Kendall Cooper would score the lone goal for the Bobcats and the first goal of the game about 10 minutes in, before Colgate would score 4 unanswered. As Thanksgiving wrapped up and the weekend rolled around, it was time for the annual Nutmeg Classic. This year's tournament took place down in Fairfield at the beautiful Martyr Family Arena. The Bobcats took on the host Sacred Heart in the first round on Black Friday, running away with the game from the get-go, ultimately winning 8-1. LaMarche recorded her first ever collegiate hat trick, while Tessa Holk got a couple of her own Genos. Doyle only had to make 13 saves in the game. With the Bobcats getting back to winning ways the day before, it was time for a championship game. It was the Battle of Whitney Ave, just in a new location, as it took its way down the Merritt Parkway. Heading into the first period, Yale moves the puck around before Cammie Bell for the Bulldogs lights the lamp first and gives Yale the opening goal of the game, taking a 1-0 lead. Now Quinnipiac on their own power play, Kendall Cooper walks her way through and snipes one top shelf into the back of the net as she sends the light show going. Bobcats and Bulldogs tied 1-1. Yale working their way, Zoe Ewens for the Bobcats. Massive block there in front of the net. Now Quinnipiac going to work the puck down low, and LaMarche is going to try and put it in the back of the net. Gets the first one not to go, and the one on the doorstep she can't get to go either. This one stays tied at 1. Heading into the third period, sit down, 2 of you, as Jordan Ray walks in 3-on-1. Give and go passing play, can't get that one into the back of the net. Doyle up for the challenge, massive save, spread eagle right there to keep this one going into overtime. Now, here come the Bobcats. Emerson Jarvis is going to send Anna Bargman of Yale 1-on-1 after a turnover. Doyle up for the challenge once again, makes a huge save. Gilgenson in the shootout. Puts that one into the back of the net. Emerson Jarvis comes in. Flying poke check from Dukarich for Yale. The Bulldogs win the Nutmeg Classic for just the second time in their program's history.
Truly a great performance there sent by the Yale Bulldogs. Bobcats coming up just short after the conclusion of the Bobcats' first loss in the Nutmeg Classic since 2018. The Bobcats still have some positives from the weekend. Q30's Anthony Rossi has more.
For the first time in 4 Nutmeg Classics, the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team was taken down as queens of the Nutmeg State, as the Yale Bulldogs are now the new champions. For the Bobcats, though, there are a lot of positives to take away from today's game.
Yeah, I thought we battled really, really hard today. You know, we had some great opportunities. We had some really big defensive moments. It's a bummer not to win the shootout and win the game. But, you know, I think for this group, they're hungry for the next championship, and we're definitely going to learn from this.
Prior to the season, Quinnipiac and Yale matched up 55 times over the last 2 decades plus a couple of years, and only 11 of those games have gone to overtime. The two in-state rivals have clashed twice this year already, and both games have gone past overtime into the shootout. The Bobcats and Bulldogs will match up one more time in the regular season on January 24th in Hamden. Cass Turner knows that her squad will be ready to go for that game.
It's always fun playing Yale, and I think that we both battle really hard, and we put on some good pressure on the forecheck. I think for us, it's going to be continuing to get better around the net. I think that there was moments today where we could have finished and we just didn't yet. And I think it's going to be that, like making sure that we're prepared to bear down and finish at the net.
With next year's tournament heading to Stores, as it will be UConn's turn to host the Nutmeg, Cass Turner shares her thoughts about how the Nutmeg Classic is run each year.
I think it's fun. You know, it's nice to have everyone have the opportunity to showcase their building and for one team to be able to have home ice. I think it's good. It's nice that we have 4, you know, good schools and good buildings for us to have the tournament in Connecticut.
Now on Tuesday, December 3rd, the Quinnipiac Bobcats will be back in action as they take on the Sacred Heart Pioneers at 11 a.m. in a normal non-conference regular season game, although they just beat the Pioneers 8-1 just a day ago, Friday, November 29th. Reporting from Martire Family Arena in Fairfield, Connecticut, I'm Anthony Rossi, Q30 Sports.
The most recent women's USCHO poll dropped today. The Bobcats stay at number 9 after the weekend in Fairfield. ECAC rivals St. Lawrence fell from number 10 to number 11, while in-state rivals Yale and UConn round out the poll at number 14 and 15. The top 8 remain unchanged for another week. Unfortunately, it's time for us to take our first break of the night. But don't go anywhere as men's ice hockey hits the Big Apple to take on Cornell at Madison Square Garden.
And the women's basketball team takes a trip to visit Mr. Worldwide down in the 305 as they have a tilt with a familiar foe in the Miami Hurricanes. We'll be right back.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Yes. I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
Most of us, we're not gonna admit that we need to help.
You don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts. It can be really bad.
It's just a beautiful space when someone can trust you and say, listen, I need help.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. After a successful weekend sweep previously, a new weekend dawned, which would see 2 battles in the state of New York. The first came on Friday night against number 7 ranked Cornell. In a packed barn, the Bobcats silenced the home crowd, making a statement win 3-1. Bollinger, Pelosi, and Marcellus would tickle the twine for the Cats.
But there was a lot of less celebrating on Saturday as the Bobcats fell to the Colgate Raiders 3-2 in Hamilton. Colgate's Daniel Panetta scored a dagger for the OT win. Quinnipiac falls to 3-3 in conference play this season. We're going to go right next on. It's going to be after filling their bellies with the Thanksgiving feast, the Bobcats hopped on the Metro North and headed to the Big Apple to take on the Cornell Big Red at Madison Square Garden. Roll the tape. The Bobcats taking on Cornell in a non-conference game at Madison Square Garden. Let's get right into it. Johnny Costanza, he's going to wrap around the net here. He's going to find an open teammate, and that's Max Sullivan. Cornell goes up 1-0. Then it's going to be Ben Robertson finding a lane, but Dylan Silverstein, after some commotion in front of his net, wraps it up. But it's going to be a miscommunication for the Bobcats, and Ryan Walsh is going to break out here. He's going to have his teammate Dalton Bancroft on the other side, and that's peanut butter and jelly. 2-0 Cornell heading into the second. Off the face-off, the puck is going to get dumped in here by Mason Marcellus. And then it's going to be Travis Treelor who's going to end up stealing from a Cornell Big Red. And then it's Andon Serbone right in front of the net. Bobcats back in it, 2-1. Later in the second, the puck is going to get down below the red line. It's going to be Braden Blaze over around the other end who finds Marcellus to Wilmer. Wilmer to Schwartz. Schwartz taps it in. 2-2 Bobcats. Late in the second, Chris Pelosi's going to get on a breakaway. He's going to go coast to coast, cannot find room. He's going to dish it to a teammate. That's Aaron Schwartz. Aaron Schwartz to the wing. It's Cooper Moore. Cooper Moore with the slap shot. Let's get into the third. Cornell is going to go on the breakout. It's going to be Jonathan Castagna. He's going to get the puck, and he's going to find a teammate in Jack O'Leary after a missed shot, and O'Leary gets the goal. It's tied in the Big Apple. And it's Michael Suda trying to get it on net, but Dylan Silverstein is there to wrap it up after some commotion. And then a bad turnover in the defensive zone for Cornell. Travis Treelor dekes, but Ian Shane shows the lever. We're going to have to go to overtime. There's no action in overtime. We're going straight to the shootout. Dalton Bancroft, first for Cornell, 5-hole, gets Cornell up. First for the Bobcats, it's Jeremy Wilmer. Wilmer against Ian Shane. Shane denies. Last chance for the Bobcats. Andon Serbone. No. Ian Shane closes the door. Quinnipiac would fall in the shootout, but would tie 3-3 pairwise. Dylan Silverstein had 30 saves on the night.
The only way to describe that game was an absolute barn burner at the Garden, baby. Playing at the Garden was a special moment for the Bobcats and for college hockey. Q30's Ava Heaton has more.
Madison Square Garden is known as the world's most famous arena for a reason. The Quinnipiac Bobcats got a taste of that on Saturday when they faced off against the Cornell Big Red for the Frozen Apple.
It was awesome, and really appreciative to Madison Square Garden and Cornell for inviting us. They did a fantastic job with this event.
Although Cornell has more experience playing at MSG than Quinnipiac, that doesn't take away from their excitement surrounding the arena's atmosphere driven by the fans.
It was a fantastic crowd, 16,000, whatever it was, 593. I mean, where do you get a sporting event like that from college hockey? This event is awesome. It's over the last 15 years.
As important as this game is for the teams involved, it is also huge for the ECAC.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, you look at both fan bases are really well represented. If you're a college hockey fan, this is about as good as it gets. And so for us, we obviously want to be able to have a great game, which so far it is. And then at the same time, we want to make sure that we're doing things like this, where people are able to see the excitement that's in our league and hopefully have a great third period.
The commissioner also discussed how Quinnipiac's past success has provided them with additional opportunities to be recognized at the national level.
I mean, obviously, Quinnipiac is one of the top programs in the country. And when you're at that level, unique opportunities become available to you. And I think that this is one of those things that to be able to come here, to be able to have the draw of the fan base, to be able to be a team that has this national recognition is great for Quinnipiac, and obviously it's great for Cornell as well.
The Bobcats will head from the Bright Lights back to M&T Bank Arena to take on RPI and Union next weekend. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Ava Heaton.
On Friday, the women's basketball team traded the cold air of Connecticut for the sunny skies of Florida as the Bobcats participated in the Miami Thanksgiving tournament. The Bobcats first took on Southeastern Louisiana for the first time in program history, taming the Lions by a score of 70-53 en route to an 6-0 start, their best since the 2012-2013 season. First-year guard Gal Raviv scored 24 points, topping her previous career high.
With the win, the Bobcats were able to keep the beach trip going in the tournament's championship game as they take on the University of Miami, down in the 305. Quinnipiac last faced Miami in the NCAA tournament in 2017, and it was pretty sweet when they pulled off a Sweet 16 upset. Into the third quarter we go, and Adams swings it all the way to the corner. Haley Cavender puts it up, and down it goes for three. The Bobcats will come down the court on their own. Jackie Grisdale puts up a three. That one's good for her as well. Fourth quarter we go. Jackie Grisdale from the arc once again, another three, and she is successful once again, feeling herself, cutting that lead down to 9 for Miami. Into the paint, Cam Williams puts it up, and in it goes, the Michigan transfer. A Wolverine is always good. Anna Foley works her way to the paint, puts it up, that one's good as well. Here come the Bobcats once again. From the corner, Gal Raviv, up it goes and down it goes. Anna Foley from the arc, that one's good as well. Swish goes the bucket. Carson Martin puts that one in, and the Bobcats take a 3-point lead. Miami looking for an answer of their own. It's Haley Cavender. Down it goes. She ties this game up. Look at that one once again. To overtime we go. And it's going to be Perea from the Bobcats from the corner. Bang! Bang! The Bobcats take a 1-point lead. Miami looking for something of their own. Spin move. Jasmine Roberts up. Good it goes. Miami takes a lead, and they won't look back, outscoring Quinnipiac 16-7 in overtime. Raviv's 25 points broke her previous career high from just a game ago, and she earned her second MAAC Rookie of the Week. The Quinnipiac men's basketball team took part in the 314 Classic, opening up with a matchup against UMass Lowell. The Bobcats made the contest close, but still lost 80-70 as Quentin Mincy put up 31 points. For Quinnipiac, Kaden Bennett put up a career-high 19 points, and Paul Otieno had 18 points, totaling for just over half of the Bobcats' points.
The team's next game was on Monday as they headed off to the Gateway City to take on the St. Louis University Billikens. Point guard Savion Lewis was out with a lower body injury, and the Bobcats suffered their second loss in a row as the Billikens beat the Bobcats 81-67 off the back of Isaiah Swope's 30-point performance. Otieno scored 19 points and made a career-high 3 3-point shots.
Yesterday it was time for an afternoon battle of Stonehill on the road in Massachusetts. They would drop this game as well, losing 88-74, also totaling for a 3-game losing streak. Otieno and Bennett each scored 17 points, but couldn't do it all on their own. Forward Amari Monroe had an off week, averaging just 8 points on 19% shooting across the 3 losses. It is time to take our last Sports Paws commercial of the semester, but stay tuned because we're going out big as Holiday Hoops returns live out on the quad.
And since it's the end of the semester, we won't just have 5 top plays, we'll have 10 top plays of the semester. So don't change the channel. Sports Paws. We'll be right back after these commercials.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to the show. Put the scarves and beanies on because we're going outside.
Here's Q30's Jack Bergman and Thomas Curtis with this year's edition of Holiday Hoops.
Welcome to Holiday Hoops. My name is Thomas Curtis. He's Jack Bergman, and we're bringing impact players on both the men's and women's side of the ball with a festive twist. We're going to start with the women's team, and as the beat reporter, Jack, go ahead.
Sure. So the first player I'm going to start off with is Jackie Grisdale. She's kind of like the Grinch stealing presents from Whoville. She's stealing the ball. She's got 10 steals, 23 defensive rebounds, and a block. And as a shooting guard, that block really matters. Now, next up, I have my gift giver, Anna Foley. She gives better presents than your grandma. She has 5 or more assists in 3 straight games and 4 games on the year. She's a Jokic archetype player and scores 12 points per game. One negative is she fouls out every once in a while, but when she's in the game, she's in the game. Lastly, for my stocking stuffer, I have Coranda Perea. And you know how when you get your stocking, you got the candy canes and the candy on top, but when you get to the bottom, that's the cream of the crop, and that's what Coranda Perea has been for this team. Against Princeton, she scored 17 points and 11 rebounds, and was such a good six-man, she took over Grace LaBarge's starting job.
And speaking of stocking stuffers, I have one of my own. Caden Bennett, the second-year guard, was banged up with some injuries, couldn't really get into a role last year, but in the last 3, 16.7 points per game, 5 boards, and that includes 19 points and 8 rebounds against Stonehill. He's really slid into the one for Savion Lewis, who got hurt, and he's stuffed the stat sheet for Tom Pecora's Bobcats. And my next one is Jaden Zimmerman. He's the breakout rookie, is leading the pack of first years the way Rudolph did way back in the day. The stats don't really jump off the page, 9 points, 2 rebounds. It's the energy. When you watch the games, Jack, he really brings it. He plays defense with all of his heart. He talks about it in the postgame presser, and he's just doing it for the first years. And finally, a big man to celebrate is grad student Paul Otieno. He feasts on the boards the way every family does around the table during the holidays. His 8.9 rebounds are impressive on their own, but the 4.9 offensive rebounds lead the nation, the entire nation, and that's what really, he cleans the glass, he feasts like the holidays. That's all we've got from out here. We'll send it back to the desk where it looks pretty warm. I can't wait to get back inside.
Thanks, guys. Well, Seb, it has been a great semester of Sports Paws. You know what I could use? I could really use a cold glass of milk and some cookies. What are you wishing for this holiday season?
I'm hoping that next semester one-ups this semester's top 10 plays because it's all about striving for better. Let's take the top 10 plays of the fall.
Number 10. Let's start with field hockey. Lucio Pompeo snipes it past a goaltender for her first of the season.
Heading to the pitch, boy do I miss soccer. Courtney Choco curler into the back of the net. Dirty.
Number 8, up at the M&T Bank Arena, Jeremy Wilmer, a snipe from the blue line. Let's take another look at this, Seb. Wilmer, right past Penn State's goalkeeper.
Pretty sweet, but let's head to the hardwood. Grant Randall, slam, dunk, sit down is what he says after that one.
Another clip against Maine, but this time it's women's ice hockey. Kayla March backhand pass to Lawrence Fournette, and she gets a backhanded goal. What a beauty there, Seb.
Men's hockey this time, Spinorama, Aaron Schwartz. I mean, how dirty are we going to get in this top 10 place?
Straight out of NHL, but it's number 4. Siva
Sit
Rostalsnis.
down.
Pass right, close center right there. Goalkeeper couldn't do anything for Sacred Heart.
Wow, but to the pitch once again, Rachel Roman, bar down. It might not be hockey, it's soccer. You can still scream, bar down.
That's true, Seb. Number 2. We just saw this a couple minutes ago. It's Cooper Moore with the slap shot. Bobcats would tie Cornell 3-3 at MSG.
That's all special, but look at this one. No way, Cabezas, bicycle kick goal. I don't think I've ever seen a dirtier goal on this campus. I don't think I'm going to see a more beautiful goal on this campus. That's all we have for Sports Paws in terms of this semester. But boy, has it been one fun and exciting semester when it comes to Quinnipiac Bobcats sports. From the pitch to the ice to the hardwood, we'll see you in about 2 months.
To my fellow producers and all of those who work hard behind the scenes, thank you so much for making Sports Paws what it is. For Seb Lopes, I'm Zach Stokinger. Enjoy your holidays, Bobcats.